And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glasser coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and Game Source. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our great shows. And if you can, please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, and if you subscribe, do it right below Jamie Sweet, right there for you on YouTube. Subscribe, follow, or do whatever you can to support us right here at the Lakers Fast Break. Plus also as well, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week. We have a great episode that we have already out for you that just came out on Monday, and we're covering GamesCon on the Friday episode, so go ahead and hear that coming up. Plus also as well, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Chris Ardieri and I are going to be talking about the most over and underrated players in your fantasy league draft. That's coming up here this week as well. Plus also, if you can go ahead and catch Jamie Sweet, who needs to go up higher on the list of Laker bloggers, because at the very top is the number one Lakers blogger, Laker Tom, and their home is Lakerholics.com. So catch Jamie Sweet's 5 things plus Laker Tom's great articles today, numerous articles as well at Lakerholics.com. That's why he's the number one Laker blogger that's out there. I love how I hype him up and he just shoots himself right down after I
I know. Oh, I don't know.
I just because I do a lot of blogs.
Take the note. Take the
Yes,
note.
take the number one. Take the mantle while you can.
Right.
Plus
Hold on
also
to that.
as well, yeah, exactly. Plus also as well, if you can go ahead and support Ox 1947 at LakersBall.com and be part of one of the great groups there, please go ahead and do so today. And our good friends at the Hoop Heads Podcast Network, it is sincerely appreciated. Well, we had to go ahead and do a show on Kobe Day to remember the life and times of Kobe Bryant on 8/24. We know his birthday was yesterday. I don't know if everybody caught in the chat, the messages of love that we did as far as hashtag Happy Birthday Kobe in the chat room. So we thought we'd do a little bit of a quick episode because I know Jamie Sweet wanted to go ahead and get a chance to share his thoughts on Kobe, plus also as well his thoughts on the Kevin Durant decision and where the Lakers go from here. So we'll go ahead and talk about that today in a real quick episode. But I do want to mention, ironically, on the day that it is, that we do celebrate in Los Angeles, Kobe Day, that the court system has, rightfully and judiciously have awarded the 2 families that have sued is it LA County? I think.
No, it's got to be Orange County. It has to be Orange County Sheriffs.
Orange County. Okay,
it was in the mountains
Orange County
County
Sheriffs and all that. Okay, they sued the Orange County Sheriffs, and
for once it wasn't LA County Police.
Well, I wasn't sure exactly which county or jurisdiction, even though because that's part of the Southern California, which I'm not as familiar with. Even I didn't spend as much time down in that area when I was living in SoCal. So I will say that the Orange County, was convicted of wrongdoing. The individuals involved sharing the photos of the aftermath of Kobe and Gigi's and everybody else.
Allegedly pretty explicit photos, which is just horrifying and disgusting to think about if it was your family.
And sharing it at parties and all that. And because of that, they are now inclined to go ahead and a jury awarded both those families, obviously the Bryant family, of course, and then also the other family involved, a total of $31 million as far as going to, hopefully, barring any appeals or anything like that, but $31 million going to both of those families, so which is right around $15-16 million to the Vanessa Bryant and the Bryant family. So obviously that's some small sign of hope that that something can go a little bit better for that family going forward, but obviously it doesn't bring back Kobe and Gigi and all those families that were lost on that very fateful day. But here today to talk about the memories of Kobe, and again the irony of how this decision came down on this day, plus also as well his thoughts on the whole KD situation and where it goes for now for the Lakers. Good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check out his 5 things articles today at Lakerholics.com. It is Jamie Sweet. Jamie, I know you wanted to be here. I think Sean Grice, the madman from Toronto, is still stuck in traffic in Toronto. I know he's had some trouble over the past couple of days, so we're going to have to go ahead and march on without him for now. Hope he gets better. Hope everything feels better, but hope he can get through traffic better. But
We'll
right
take
now,
a break, eh?
yeah, we'll do it for him. We'll get in there for him. But right now, it's Kobe Day. Your
Don't worry
thoughts
about it, you hoser.
for the Canadian fans out there, but
That's right. That's right.
your thoughts on Kobe Day, this monumental decision, and maybe some memories of Kobe that are special in your heart.
I mean, I'll always remember where I was at the Pike Bar in Long Beach when he scored 81 points, because it was just one of those nights where I was like, I don't want, I want to get out of the house. And I know that they always had the game on the back half of the bar because they often had live music. And so there was like a bluegrass band or something playing that was a, pretty good band. But like slowly but surely, everybody ended up back in my area to like watch, because, first it was like, oh, Kobe's going off, yada, yada, yada.
Mhm.
Oh, he's got, 40 something points at halftime. That's pretty incredible. But he had done that once already this season when he outscored Dallas all by himself after 3 quarters. Also incredible. It was that same year. And I just thought that the 81 points was just not only a sheer spectacle of skill and talent, but mental will, like to push yourself across that threshold is not something few, if any, ever again will do. In the 3-ball era, it's probably going to be easier to get 60, 70 points, but you have to be really accurate from 3, and you're not going to generate a lot of foul shots. I think Kobe took 20 something foul shots that game because he was just relentless attacking the paint.
Crept in the second half, sort of crept up on everyone
Yeah.
as far as just how well he was doing.
That's sort of my point. Like, at halftime, I remember being like, oh, I'm getting into the band a little bit. And then I was looking up the game. I was like, oh, Kobe, oh, Kobe, oh, Kobe. Okay, this is getting crazy. And it got crazy. And that was just one of the craziest things. I wasn't at the game, unfortunately. And I'm planning, should any of you out there want to get together and join me, on being at the POW retirement jersey, and that invitation extends to you as well, Gerald. At the Pau Gasol retirement jersey retirement ceremony, it's definitely going to be. If I'm going to any game this season, I'm going to that one. I was a big fan of Pau Gasol. I think it's fitting that Pau's jersey retirement, Kobe's birthday, Kobe Day, and the settlement are all happened, I think, within a week of one another.
Yeah.
The day that they announced that it was going to be on, because those two should be intertwined in Laker history the same way Shaq and Kobe were intertwined, same way Magic and Kareem, and Jerry and Wilt. But in terms of the settlement, I mean, it was obviously the right thing to do. Obviously, the law enforcement officers who, everybody has lapses and moments of judgment. This was a pretty egregious one, I have to say.
And it was by more than one.
And it was by more than one. Yeah. It wasn't like, oh, well, look at this is the bad apple. It was like, well, we are all kind of like about it. And that's just, that's just, everybody likes to talk about, how people need to be more professional. Well, this was a case of people needing to be a lot more professional than whatever their training or whatever their protocols.
It was Los Angeles County Sheriff and Fire Departments.
Interesting. That's even worse, because I guess they must have been called in. So if it must have been, okay, so that means it was probably like right on the border of the mountains, between where it starts to end up being North Orange County and.
I think so, because I've only been there when I pass by on the freeway. That's the only time I've been around there. Let's put it this way: the Bryant family was awarded $16 million in damages, and the other co-plaintiff, Chris Chester, was awarded $15 million.
And so, I think that's right. I mean, obviously, the other families, their loss is no more keen, and I think that's going to be split up amongst a couple of different families, that second settlement. But none of them were as high profile as the Bryant family, and so I can understand how, I thought it was fair. I thought it was a fair judgment. I didn't think it like overly favored either side. It could have been more punitive, I think, towards the settlement side, but I thought, everything about it I thought was right. And there's not too much to say about it, I guess, in that, let's all just try to be more human.
Absolutely, indeed. But I know that there's some final memories of Kobe that you wanted to share before we get into KD and where it leads the Lakers. So any more thoughts from you on Kobe? I mean, for me, one of the great memories I have of Kobe is the first title he won without Shaq, without anybody saying anything as far as who the leader was, and he went up on that platform right where the press and the
Yep.
timekeepers are at, and I actually have it right there on the Facebook
Yep.
page when you see it. So
Yep.
such an iconic shot, and I saw it live, and I
Yeah.
saw the 81-point game live, and I just marveled at him as far as a basketball player, and then the individual that he became after his playing days are over. I mean, you and I have gone before as far as
Too short of that, and too short of time with
yeah,
that individual.
yeah, he
By
was really
far.
going far and excelling. I mean, we talked about before the
Yeah.
individual during the career, and we won't say that on a day like today, but I will say right now, there's no doubt just where he is in the pantheon of great players ever in this league.
Oh, no doubt at all. I would also say one of my favorite Kobe games was probably one he would statistically want to forget, but has to be the sweetest victory, which was winning against Boston.
Yep.
He had a terrible game,
Yes, he did.
scoring wise. He found ways to impact the game all over the court, and
Rebounded really well that day.
rebounded really well. And I want to just to tie into what's coming next. If there's a game the modern Lakers should look at, it's that game, because it's how somebody with skill and talent just didn't have it going that way that day. It
That was
wasn't
just a
there.
game of
He was
wills.
exhausted. He was basically down to one knee. I think he needed like a procedure done on his knee that summer. If at least the PR.
Well, he had done so much in Game 6, if you remember.
He had a monster Game 6. He carried the team across to that epic Game 7, one of the most epic and titanic struggles in Game 7 history, because the swing was so wild. Like Boston came out so hard, and you were just like, we shot the last bullets last night, and they just never stopped clawing back. And that's the mentality this Laker team this season needs to have all day, every day from now until the end of their season, whenever that may be. Have that we can claw back in any game mentality. That mentality is what I consider to be the Mamba way, the never admitting defeat, it looks bleak, maybe, it looks hard and impossible, but that does not mean it's not attainable, and you just gotta want it, and you just gotta go and get it. And that's what he did his whole career. He went and got it, and he's one of the greatest to ever lace him up.
Yes.
Certainly
Agreed.
The greatest Laker shooting guard of all time. Quite possibly the best Laker of all time. There's of course, nuanced arguments we can all make about that,
exactly.
But certainly like among the most dominant Lakers of all time, and was a lifer, like Magic was a Laker lifer, and I respect all of that. And those are probably my favorite Kobe memories, the ones where he displayed his true grit.
Absolutely. Again, just a competitor that was one of the very best, and I think nobody can dispute that as far as what talent he left on the basketball court, and his desire and wanting to win and wanting to succeed was matched by very few others ever in the NBA. And I will say, Joe Soros in the chat. Oh my gosh. Well, we're not talking about Patrick Beverley today. On our Sunday group chat, we'll go ahead
Sorry,
and talk.
Joe, that one.
Yeah, I know. Well, unfortunately, well, let's hope it doesn't happen. Yeah. So I will say, though, that before we head on out, I want to go ahead and hear thoughts on you because of the Kevin Durant situation. I know that Adrian Wojnarowski and Shams Charania are talking about trading Patrick Beverley. In fact, it looks like, according to Shams and Adrian, that it's going to be a done deal. Patrick Beverley to the Lakers for THT.
Oh, for
Your
real?
thoughts on that? Yeah. So you're seeing
just for THT, no picks?
No, I don't see anything yet. It always comes out in the wash a little bit later. But
I mean, if it's
no picks,
that is a great deal.
And Joe is very unhappy. If you heard the previous podcast that we did, because yes, so I will say that we do have someone now that Laker Tom kind of likes, as far as someone that can be able to play off the ball, can shoot pretty decent, and still play defense, even though he's in his 30 plus years. Your thoughts on this before, because now this all stems from the Kevin Durant decision to stay with the
Ooh,
Brooklyn
and
Nets.
Stanley Johnson. Okay, that's
Okay.
interesting.
Well, I
That
mentioned
means,
that. I mentioned that as part of yesterday, as part
yeah.
of my trade. I mentioned a 4-for-4, which included 2 of those individuals. So
Well,
it
that
looks
makes me
like,
think a Russ trade could happen because that opens up a salary slot for them to bring in another player,
yeah.
which they basically have to with Russ's salary,
So yes, right now the
without
trade
waiving
is
anybody.
Patrick Beverley for THT and Stanley Johnson.
Dumpster diver or dumpster fire? Which one is it,
Well, if you heard
Joe?
his comments yesterday,
No,
he
I
is
know, I
not
know,
too
I know.
thrilled. Yes.
I know. No, I know, I know. He's listen. I compared him to a WWE player. He's all antics. I mean, listen.
Just let the smack talk begin.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I will say this: he's certainly a better defender and more of what we need than either THT or Stanley Johnson. And I think that, I mean, what's Patrick Beverley? 34, 35?
He has shot as high as I think
No.
38 to
His age
40.
is 34,
Oh,
35, right?
34, yeah, in that range.
And he'll be, I think he turns 35 mid-season, if I remember right, something like that. Anyhow, point being, THT is 21. Stanley Johnson's, I think, 23, 24. Two players who
No,
you can.
he's actually a little older.
Is he really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
I know. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure on Stanley. Uh,
And Joe Soro's in the chat sharing his thoughts on this. So
let's not mince words, Joe. Anybody who's a fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000 might get this reference.
yes. But
It
your thoughts
stinks.
on this, my friend? I mean,
I mean,
overall,
I'm not a huge Patrick Beverley fan, but you know what? I wasn't a huge Matt Barnes fan. I watched him and rooted for him as a Laker. I'll be rooting for Patrick Beverley as a Laker whenever he does something crazy, like an unnecessary foul or some weird face, or like
or going off on Twitter.
go. Well, that's
player.
not. Let's be honest. That's not just Pat Beverley, and that's more a function of Twitter.
But he is one of the stronger individuals to do that. He does have a career ahead of him in broadcasting.
Hey, Lakers Nets is going to be real exciting this year.
Yes.
KD will just be shooting over Patrick Beverley all game long. No, I know, but I was never a Matt Barnes fan, Joe. But anyhow, point being, it's Stanley Johnson wasn't what we needed. THT wasn't what we needed, and this is, I'm not going to say more that we needed, but it's an improvement in terms of a potential starting lineup because now you have options with none. Now you have options if you do happen to move Westbrook for somebody who's not a point guard. You've got a couple of guys who could run the offense and Nunn and Patrick. And let's be honest, LeBron's going to be running the offense one way or the other, so it almost doesn't matter. John, how you doing? And, it's just going to be, I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see. I was just talking about having that go get it and claw mentality. That is Patrick Beverley's game. So, I spaketh it into existence. But to segue, like you were talking about, into the KD situation, for a long time, I was predicting that it would end exactly like the Kobe trade demand did, which was, yeah, okay, we'll try, but it's you're not going to get what you want out of this. Like, you're not going to go to a team that's stacked with all the guys you want to play with because we're going to ask for those guys back. So you're just going to move teams, but be in the same situation you are now. And luckily for the Lakers, Andrew Bynum kind of came out of the gates like like somebody who could be a complimentary player in a pick and roll game that Kobe needed to like free up space at that point in his career. And then, when he went down, the Lakers were lucky and savvy enough to go out and get Pau Gasol. So that's going to be an interesting lineup. I'm curious to see if Patrick comes off the bench or if he starts.
I want to see if there's any picks involved because that's going to come out in the rinse.
If there's no picks, this is a good deal. If this took a first rounder to make happen, that makes me think we have no chance to trade Russell Westbrook until the trading deadline, and that we are moving forward as is with this team. Because I don't think at this point in the season, because the way I've been...
Okay, Adrian's saying that as of now, no picks are involved in the deal, and the deal could be finalized as soon as Thursday.
Oh, so hasn't happened yet, and could, depending on the universe's reaction, maybe Danny goes, never mind, I want to pick. I mean, they're getting out of salary. That's all they're trying to do here, and they're getting up-and-coming players that fit with their philosophy, and they're going to get a good look at THT if it goes through. as somebody who let's see what you got, dude. I would say that if it has no picks and it goes through, it's actually maybe Rob Palinka's best trade to date.
That's
I'm not
setting the
joking.
bar real low, my friend.
I know, but like, look at how we're still under the guillotine of the Anthony Davis trade, and we'll continue to be so for at least 2 more seasons, maybe 3. And throwing away picks to get Schroeder, throwing away picks to get Russ, and trading away all the trade, the contracts that you could compartmentalize into a trade that made sense to one guy who's nigh impossible to move. Nobody's going to trade for Westbrook at the beginning of the season to buy him out, because that basically signals you're giving up before the season even starts. And I don't think any team's looking at that. The only way you would do that is if you got 2 picks. So if they manage to keep their 2 picks for that makes me think a Russ trade could happen, and Laker Tom could get his dream lineup of Patrick Beverley, Buddy Hield, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Miles Turner. And look, if that happens, that would be my, minus Patrick Beverley, that would be my preferred lineup. That's who I'd like to see the Lakers. I've always not wanted to trade for Kyrie. I've always wanted the Lakers to trade for 2 guys who fit in better alongside what LeBron and AD already do really well. And that is, in my opinion, Buddy, at least of the trade packages I've seen out there, Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. So we don't need to get into what that potential team may or may not look like, because it hasn't happened yet. So, and if it does go through, welcome to the Lakers, Patrick Beverley. It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah, here we go again.
Hey man, it's the NBA. It's the NBA, dude. It's gonna get wacky before it gets normal.
As Joe says, what a depressing bleep summer.
But Joe, think about had we made no moves and went into the season with THT, Stanley Johnson on the roster, and at least for now we still have Russ, but like that roster it's terrible. That isn't the roster we had 20 minutes ago. If that roster is terrible. THT alongside LeBron and AD, without somebody like Rondo to orchestrate him, or somebody who will tell him to go where he's supposed to go and do what he's supposed to do, is terrible. THT with license on the Lakers is terrible. Stanley Johnson, he played his heart out last season, and he's gonna play his heart out in Utah, and as he should. Or they may just cut them all, buy them all out. But I think that Utah ends up, if they do, I think they give them both a look, because they're gonna want to see how they want to look in the future. Interesting that they made a trade before moving Mitchell, if it all goes through. But it's a salary dump for Utah. So,
yep, just another day in Lakerland. So even on Kobe Day, some news has always got to happen, indeed. But once again, it's Jamie Sweet. Go ahead and check out his latest article today at Lakerholics.com. Also, as well, go ahead and check out Laker Tom. I know Laker Tom, over the next few days, will be talking and writing about what's going on with Patrick Beverley. I wonder how many articles he will do on him now.
Oh, man.
Wait, see.
Oh, man.
And if you want to go ahead and check out Joe, a.k.a. Ox1947, and his frustration that he will vent out, please go ahead and check out LakersBall.com. He will be venting out his frustration.
He might be there right now.
Yeah, he's probably there going there right now. I'll have him on tomorrow night. John McCallion looks like he's going to be on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. If not sooner, hopefully I can get him on either Friday or Sunday, so we'll go ahead and do that. But yes, Joe is not too happy right now in the chat room, so I will get him on live on tomorrow's show. But my friend, it's been a great conversation as we remember Kobe on Kobe Day, 8/24. He had his birthday yesterday, but a great decision was made today by the court system in favor of the Bryant family. Any last thoughts before we head on out?
Always love you, Kobe. You had your ups and your downs in your life, as we all do, and you had an incredible basketball career. And so let's always keep, we should always try to remember the good while not covering over history. And let's just be honest about our realities and stuff. And let's go Lakers, go Rob. I haven't been calling for trades because I don't think he's got the savvy this might be, like I said, his best trade yet. But all our love to the Bryant family, to the families of all the victims that suffered a loss in that crash.
Absolutely.
Because that was just one of those things that it's still kind of hard to believe that that's what happened. So,
well, again, it was just more than one individual that was working in conjunction with the police and fire departments. This was being shared around amongst a whole bunch of them. Yeah, I know about the bartender at the party that saw it and actually, I think, testified to that amount. But yes, a day that ironically is on 8/24, the family of Kobe Bryant gets a little bit of peace, as far as what's happened, that they can go ahead and try to move on as best they can from the death of Kobe and Gigi Bryant, plus all the families as well. Again, my thoughts and prayers are continued to be with the Bryant family, and hope everything continues to get better for them as they heal now after this court decision. So, interesting day. Even when we go on the air live, my friend, talking about Kobe, something always happens in Lakerland. So, any last thoughts?
This is shocking. If it goes through, it's shocking. Don't give up a pick, Rob. Not even a second rounder. Hold the gate. Hold the line. The riders of Rohan are coming. Hold the line.
It was, and then we all know what happened then. But
hey, listen.
I digress.
Ultimately, it worked out for the riders of Rohan. Sure, Theoden died, but he was old.
Yeah, that's true.
It was his final ride. He went out hardcore. I'd rather
he got to see his niece kick some butt.
Right? So, yeah, I'd rather go out hardcore like Theoden did than jumping off the top of a tower like Denethor did. So that's just me though.
Well, I will go ahead in more detail on the Patrick Beverley trade on the Thursday show. I know, Jamie, you said you might not be able to make it. I know John said he might not be able to make it. But I know Joe from the dumpster, as he said in the chat, will be able to make it. And I'm sure Mr. Laker Tom will probably be there as well. So if you have any questions for us, you want to have any comments on the Patrick Beverley trade, because Patrick Beverley...
He'll be giddy. He'll be giddy is what he'll be.
The trade is supposed to be finalized as per Shams, and also as well, Woj, sharing that Woj bomb that Patrick Beverley is going to be a Laker, traded for Stanley Johnson and THT. One last thing I wanted to go ahead and cover is John wanted to know Patrick Beverley's contract. So I'm looking up right now on Sport Track to give everybody an idea. I think it's
13 mil. I want to say it's around 13 mil because THT makes 11 or 10. And Stanley Johnson's on the vet minimum for like 2.8, 2.9, 2.
Yes, so it is 13 mil for this upcoming season, and he is an unrestricted free agent at 35. So he is 34 right now, just to give everybody an idea. But petting my cat, he is. I think I'll just show it to say it right there for everybody in the chat. LMAO. So that's in honor of THT and Stanley Johnson saying bye, and honor of. Patrick Beverley saying hello.
And if it goes through, thanks for your services, Lakers, Stanley Johnson, and THT. THT was part of a banner-winning team. Can't forget that. Yes. Stanley Johnson played his heart out. So,
Stanley Johnson around $2 million, I believe.
Yeah, just over 2. So the money's going to work out. I don't think we're taking back hardly any salary, or they're not getting.
I still liked mine better. I still like my trade with Utah better,
too,
where you got 4 for 4.
Yeah, I know, but that's not going to happen before they trade Mitchell. It's just not going to happen before they trade Mitchell. They may do that after they trade Mitchell, but not before. Like I said, that means you're giving up. Trading for Russ means you're giving up.
Last question of the day: is THT's value really that low? Sent to us by John McCallion, who I hope I can get back on the show this weekend.
Not necessarily his value, but the way his contract is structured, coupled with his lack of progress, I would say. It's not that his trade value is low. He's a young guy. He should have some upside, but because he has the option at, I don't think, almost close to $12 million, a player option for next season, Joe's
reason
on,
why Jamie
Joe's
is
on
laughing.
fire.
Yes, Joe's on fire. Indeed.
You're on
Joe,
fire.
save it for tomorrow. Save it for
No,
tomorrow's
he's
show.
got plenty of vinegar. Don't worry about Joe. He's
All
got
right.
he's
From
got
the
the vinegar.
dumpster. From the dumpster.
He's got all the sauce a man needs.
Okay. He said he had no trade value. That's why they got trash back for it. So we will hear in
Diving in the
detail
dumpster.
live Joe Soro's thoughts, which I know is got to be more in detail. He's going to be maybe at 24 hours. We'll let him stew a little bit. Maybe he'll calm him down a little bit. So we'll see what happens there. But the latest again is Patrick Beverley is going to be headed to Los Angeles in a trade for THT and Stanley Johnson, providing everything goes through. Both Shams and Woj says the deal could be finalized as early as Thursday. So Joe's saying he is calm. Wow. Okay.
Calmer than you, dude. Calmer
Yes.
than you.
All
I get you,
right.
Toe. I get you,
But
Toe,
if
by
you have any
5:30.
questions for us, comments again on the trade, on
Just
Kobe
no
Day, on the judgment that was made in favor of the Bryant family, please let us know at Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. Of course, Lakers Fast Break on Twitter. And of course, Lakers Fast Break right here on YouTube. Please go ahead and subscribe today if you can. It's greatly appreciated. We're getting more and more subscribers, and we cannot thank you enough for doing so. You'll get the latest notifications on when we go live right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But Jamie, great to have you here. Any last final thoughts before we head on out?
Freebird.
Freebird indeed.
That's all I got. Freebird.
Well, my friend, it's been great having you here. Thank you so much for everyone out there in the chat. They are
I'm sorry.
really,
Yeah, the chat is hilarious tonight.
Yes, the chat-
Joe
okay.
and John.
yes.
Same
You
magnifique.
killed it. You killed
Yeah.
it today, guys. Petting
you
my
for the-
cat. He's just laughing hysterically out there. Oh my gosh. Just a great time indeed. But thank you everyone for being a part of today's broadcast. Once again, we remember Kobe,
Oh, man.
and we also remember the day as Patrick Beverley became.
No.
Again.
Do not ever say that again.
Second
Never say-
time.
no,
Second
no,
time
no, no, no.
around.
It'll never be.
Remember,
Patrick
he was
Beverley Day.
drafted originally by the team.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
yes.
That's this. It's
Okay.
like a Rage Against the Machine back. It's coming back around again.
Well, we'll see what he can do at 34. I thought we were going to try and stay away from 30-plus individuals. I guess not. We just can't help ourselves.
There's no way you rebuild the team taking on. We're not getting young guys for. It's just no, not gonna happen.
I don't think so.
Next summer, if all the contracts we bring back are expiring for next summer, I'm intrigued to see if Rob can pull that off. So.
Okay.
We'll
Oh, you have a music request by Joe before we head on out. Play in Time by Harry Heck.
You're gonna. I have
the
no
one
idea
from
what
Punisher 2004.
That nails it down for me. Thank you so much. that of course. How could I have forgotten Punisher 2004? Only 18 years ago.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's been great having a conversation here.
Okay, I'll leave you guys with this. I can't do it right now. I'd have to practice it. That was a blown version of Stairway to Heaven because that's what you get. Thank you.
All right. Once again, great to have Jamie Sweet here. Please go ahead and check him out today at Lakerholics.com. But we'll be back with a very, very upset Joe Soro. How upset? You're going to find out live on the air tomorrow right here at the Lakers Fast